Welcome to Week 8, our final week. This week in the forum, you will reflect on your learning and share with your classmate your utmost challenging topics and your most intriguing topics encountered during our study of government and not-for-profit accounting. You will also complete the final examination. This week we will discuss federal governmental accounting. Your projects and conversation topics will test your grasp of the detailed standards and comprehensive accounting model of the federal government. Remember without fail to focus on our learning targets for this week, which are combining the factors that make up governmental fund accounting and comparing not-for-profit accounting in different fields. Are there any noticeable differences that distinguish not-for-profits and other governmental organizations from federal government accounting? An immediate difference is in the recording. In your review of the City of Austin and other not-for-profit financial reports, you noticed that 6 zeros were excluded. However, 9 zeros are not included in the financial statements and journal entries of the federal government. In earlier weeks, we discussed service efforts and accomplishments, and the Governmental Accounting Standards Board's failed efforts to mandate SEA inclusion in not-for-profit and other governments' financial statements. The financial statements of the government agencies include this information. The information is augmented by key performance measures, long-term strategic goals, and a 2-year summary of the performance goals and results. There is another difference. Federal financial statements are prepared based on the accounting standards issued by the Federal Accounting Standards Board. However, 3 federal agencies provide the financial management. As it relates to financial management, the federal government is autonomous. Therefore, it does not defer its standard-setting authority to an independent board. How many of the 3 agencies do you have work experience with, or have worked with one or more of their sub-agencies? We will discuss 2 agencies immediately and the 3rd at the end of our discourse. The Department of Treasury. It produces coins and currencies and conducts revenue collection, recall the Internal Revenue Service, and it provides funds to operate the federal government. The Office of Management and Budget prepares and supervises the federal government and reviews and evaluates federal agency programs. You may note that the budget, different from not-for-profit and other governments, is not subject to much manipulation. We do agree that the government maintains 2 systems of accounts for definitive reasons. It maintains budgetary accounts and proprietary accounts. Proprietary accounts do not resemble those of our municipal units we have studied in previous weeks. The proprietary accounts are similar to conventional revenue and expense and balance sheet accounts, which were used by state and local governments to prepare both fund and government-wide financial statements. Budget accounts ensure that the entity complies with 3 primary commitments, including the budgetary mandates, are satisfied. Let's look at our budget in more detail. Debates may exist over the importance of the federal government's budget and the financial statements. The accounting industry representatives presented to U.S. senators and representatives the industry's insight into the challenges faced by the federal government's finances. According to the profession's spokesperson, the budget describes the top target for government spending each year. However, The financial statements provide a multi-year look, which is very good, which takes into account all federal government's existing obligations. The spokesperson indicated that the financial statements provide a much more complete and sobering analysis. The main element in this debate is that the continuing and growing mismatch between the federal government's long-term spending obligations and its projected revenues is one of the toughest issues for taxpayers to understand. Basically, and quoting, "We as a nation can reset our economic picture if we know where our nation's revenues come from, where the money is to be spent, and the service cost of our debt." What are your thoughts? Do you agree on how the nation can reset its economic future? Let's agree that the financial statements are important to understanding the country's overall fiscal picture. Our agreement will allow us to examine our last federal government agency. The Government Accountability Office has many functions. However, it is most often known as the federal government's auditor. Yes, the federal government is required to have an annual audit. The annual financial report of the federal government consists of audited, consolidated, accrual-based financial statements, in addition to sustainability financial statements and notes which are in conformity with the generally accepted accounting principles, as you know of as GAAP. You can see from our discussion of the three primary federal agencies and sub-agencies that the federal government is structurally complex. The GAO bears the responsibility of reporting and integrating accounting systems of more than 100 departments and agencies. Certainly, it is no surprise that the GAO auditor has not, in over 18 years, issued an unqualified opinion on the federal government's financials. A clean opinion may not be forthcoming because of validated factors, including material internal control weaknesses and uncertainties regarding projections. Do enhance your readability of the federal financial statements. The GAO provides a website on how to understand the primary components of the annual financial report of the U.S. government. Congratulations to each of you on completing the course, and best of luck.